the different types of substances and their physical and chemical properties, whether it is artificial or natural inside our body, or artificial or man-made that is outside. Okay, man-made or artificial. Okay, get the point. So we're gonna be having. I cannot erase this one. Okay, but based on the theory, this can be erased by acetone. Okay, so as what I remembered in my college, acetone is really have the property of the removal of the ink, stain, like that. Okay, and this cannot be removed by any solvent. So this is a permanent marker problem. I forgot. I used the permanent marker because of so many information in my brain cells. I forgot. Sorry guys ha. So let's escape this part. Charot! Diba? So we have biomolecules. Okay. Okay, to take up this biology is the best pre-course before taking doctorate in medicine or medical science, because biology really studied the zoology, the botany, the cells, the cell structure, okay, the vital organs, the anatomy, the physiology, name it, the immunology, the metabolism, like that, okay? It's in there, discuss everything, the biotechnology, the mutation, okay, the DNA replication, the ribonucleic acid messenger translation and transcription to produce protein, something like that. They discuss everything in biology, okay? That's why it's best to take first BS biology before taking BS doctor in medicine, something like that, okay? Biomolecules and macromolecules, okay? Like this. Basically the same, biomolecules and macromolecules. Bio meaning life. Okay, like that. Since all materials, foods around us or substances are all considered as molecules because it's composed by any elements. Okay, for example, water, the element hydrogen and oxygen is in there. Two atoms of hydrogen plus one atom of oxygen. So basically chemical in nature but not hazardous. Good chemicals. Okay, we have the nitrogen, nitrogen in the atmosphere, and the reactive oxygen that makes us breathe in our cellular respiration, in our vital organs. We receive the oxygen, and it gives activation for our lung to have respiration, and we inhale, we exhale the CO2, things like that. So these are good chemicals. Okay, oxygen, but the CO2 also is good for the plants. Okay, for the circulation of the photosynthesis. Okay, natural process like that. But it will become only bad if we have a lot of greenhouse gases, which are also carbon dioxide. Okay, releases by the power plants, nuclear power plants, okay, something like that. Chemical industrial companies releases greenhouse gases, and then carbon monoxides also. Okay, so that would be the danger part of the chemicals. So meaning to say chemicals are both good and bad. It depends on the application. So change your mind now that you are thinking only that chemicals are bad. There are a lot of chemicals that are good. In fact, we will die without these chemicals. Okay? Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Okay? Like that. Carbon, CHOs. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. Okay? Nitrogen, because if there's no nitrogen, then it will not be fortified in the meat. Okay? The direct absorption of nitrogen from the 79% by volume in the atmosphere to the animals and the plants. All plants and animals absorb nitrogen level from the atmosphere, and it will become an amine. You cannot eliminate the amine. That's why all living organisms are subject to cancers in the future. Because of that fact, naturally and artificially, we have nitrogen. We cannot eliminate that because God gave that to us, 79% by volume. Like a magic. Magic, 79% of nitrogen. Then the Lord God said, oxygen, 21% oxygen free. Oh, ganan. That is free from our nature and our atmosphere. But the oxygen, due to its reactive, bigaon kay siya, then the oxygen will become lesser, 20.8, 20.9, 20.7 from 21% because there are a lot of contaminants in the atmosphere. As I told you, power plants releases the gas, toxic gases, the fuels, blah blah. It will react to the oxygen in the atmosphere. It will consume the molecules of the natural oxygen that God gave us, which is 21%. That's why it will become 20.8, 20.7, 20.6, 20.8. But the nitrogen will still be perfect. 79% nitrogen. You will give that to the plants, to the animals, like that. And it will produce nitrosamines as a carcinogenic substance. Ganon! Okay, so prone dito sa cancers, all living organisms. Okay, because of that issue. And it will convert also to nitrates to nitrites. And after that, nitrosamine. Actually, nitrates and nitrites are not the carcinogenic substance. It's the raw materials to become a carcinogenic substance, which is the nitrosamine. Okay, two atoms of hydrogen, 2 atoms of nitrogen, and 1 atom of oxygen. So this is highly carcinogen, suspected carcinogen. Okay, as what we call that in the IARC. Okay, ganon siya. ARC ka ito mga regulate sa cancer ba? Okay, International Association of the Regulation of Cancers, IARC. Okay, then there's so many chemicals that are listed for carcinogen, mutagen, ganon, toxin, okay, allergen, so pathogen. So these are all unwanted substances. That's why we need antibodies, okay, to remove these unwanted antibodies. Okay, the more we have good antibodies, then it will try to bind or recognize, then after that one, after trapping these unwanted substances, then it will be distracted or disturbed and eliminated in our system. That's why antibodies is very important for every human being. Okay, no need to discuss about that because our topic is there. Dugay kita mahuman kung sige tag-discuss ako itong mga yung pinaghuhugutan. Okay, we have, okay, so natong na mag-uguguys good, manang lamig kay siya i-log. Okay, natong ako ganina, so all I have to do is chop. Okay, ganon. Sa akong mga chararat. Ay nako, chararat. He's here. Huwag ko ay mga palangga ha. Mga palangga kong hitan. Okay. So there are 4. So actually, there are 4, right? Number 1 is the lipid. Lipid or lipid. How can you pronounce this? Number 2, we have the carbohydrates. Okay. Number 3, we have the nucleic acid. Oh, I love this topic. Nucleic acid, really. Nucleic acid. So marvelous topic. The nucleic acid. If we know about nucleic acid, then we need to deal with metabolism and immunology and epidemiology. Okay, metabolism, the process of burning fats or any calories. Metabolic immunology, the process of eliminating disease in our immune system. And then we have also the epidemiology, the process of controlling and preventing diseases to come in. That's epidemiology. Okay, so we have nucleic acid. That's why I love nucleic acid. Our immune system needs nucleic acid to survive. Okay, like that. Okay, number 4. What else? Lipid, carbohydrates, nucleic acid, and what is the other one? The most important one, not really the most important one. It's gonna be the amino acid. That's necessary for protein. I don't really practice, guys, what to say, right? I almost forgot. Protein. Of the 4, which among them you like the most? Right? Because we are a student before, there are topics that we need to really like to study. Okay? Like In my high school, I love to study carbohydrates. Okay. In my college, I love to study the protein. Okay. Now, when I worked for almost 22 years, I got interest. Though I know the basic concepts already with nucleic acid and lipids, I got interest in nucleic acid study. Okay, talking about the DNA, the RNA, the polymerase chain reaction test, PCR test, in the determining the specific genetic material of a specific organism, which is a virus. Okay, COVID-19. So it's using enzyme polymerase to detect the specific virus, and it carries the genetic information. It's easy for us to detect what kind of virus is that. That's why we have PCR, meaning polymerase chain reaction test. Polymerase is an enzyme that composed of specific proteins. If there's no polymerase, then it cannot attract the organisms to be discovered. Okay, so you put that there in their materials to test us. Okay, get the point? Ana siya. Okay, we have lipids, carbohydrates, nucleic acid, and protein. Wow, nakakaloka. Now we start with, diba? We start with saying, okay, for example, what is the building block of a bridge? Building block of a bridge is going to be talking about the process and the foundation so that it will never be collapsed, right? So what is the building block of a concrete house or a hospital or whatever? It should be the concrete bricks or hollow blocks or concrete blocks. These are the building block in order for them to sustain and it will not collapse also, right? So macromolecules have also like that, so that it will be standing for a long time, will never collapse. They have also the building block. Now, for human being, what is the building block of human being all over the world? So, what is the building block of a person in order for us to do our tasks, in order for us to eat, dance, sing, and to live in this contemporary world, to be happy? What is the building block? The building block of human being or the building block of life is protein. Okay? Not the lipid, not the carbohydrates, not the nucleic acid. Why we say this? I will explain. Building block. Tingnan niyo siya guys, magawa sa mga quiz bowls, science quiz fair. If you are really also, enjoying that in your high school, okay? For example, if you are the representative in your school and you'll be competing with the other schools like that, and it's very challenging, right? If you experience also like that. Okay? So, really, before I remember this, I'll share this in the story. When I joined the science quiz bowl in University of San Carlos. I was high school at that time, competing so many students there. University of San Carlos, Talamban, competing from north to south. High school. I never won, but I'm just sharing the information to all of you guys. It's a very, very good experience to compete academically with other students. Okay? So, if you love science, then go like that. Okay? If you love math, then go. Ganon. If you love drawings, then go. Utilize your talent well. Academic talent, right? Yeah, it's gonna be academic talent. Okay, so it's gonna be the building block of life. Okay, so it's gonna be the protein, huh? So the question like this. Question number 1: a substance that known to be the building block of life. So no choices. Your answer will be protein. Some question also no choices. So also have A, protein. B, like this. For example, another example for a quiz. Well, I'm sharing this because I'm enjoying this in the past when I was in high school. Okay, like that. And then, for example, which is the most abundant element in the planet Earth? Like that. A, silicone. B, aluminum. C, copper. And you will push the buzzer. Bzz, like that. It's oxygen. It's the most abundant element in the planet Earth. second is silicon, and third is aluminum. So when we revise the question to be like this, which is the most abundant metal in the planet Earth, it's gonna be aluminum because aluminum is metal. Both silicon and oxygen are non-metal, and we have non-metals. We have 17 non-metals in the periodic table out of 118 elements arranged by Mr. Dmitry Mendeleev, right? A chemist who discovered the arrangement of the periodic table according to its physical and chemical properties and its electronic configuration, right? Okay, something like that. So we have protein and the building blocks of life. Okay. So if this is the case, mga palangka, kulitan, we need to study first protein. Okay, but anyhow, we go back. Okay, lipid. Lipid or lipid, I don't know how to pronounce this. Or to those students who studied linguistics, BS Mass Communication major in linguistics. There it's being emphasized the correct pronunciation, enunciation, like that intonation, like that how you speak properly, right? Linguistics. Bachelor of Science in Mass Communication, major in Linguistics. Bachelor of Science, Mass Communication, major in Broadcast Journalism. There's a lot of area, right? Because I love really broadcast journalism when I was in high school. So I'll never forget that one. Okay? So I don't aim to become an engineer. I want to become a renowned broadcast journalist. But it doesn't came through. Okay? Like that. Okay, we have here lipid. Okay, what is the building block of lipid? Okay. The lipid building blocks are very unique. We have two. We have the glycerol and we have also the fatty acids. Okay, when we mean of fats in organic chemistry, that's automatically tantamount to fatty acid or similar to fatty acids in understanding. Okay, so don't be confused. An acid and a fatty acid is just basically the same. Fats is just fatty acids. Okay? So we say trans fats. Okay. Zero trans fats. Okay, but that is also meaning trans fatty acids. It was being shortcut lang talaga siya. Okay. Okay. Saturated fats, meaning saturated fatty acids. Okay. Unsaturated fats, meaning unsaturated fatty acids. When we mean of fatty acids, technically equal to fats. Any question? Okay. So that you will never be confused. Okay? Omega fatty acids. Oh, that's omega fats. Omega 3. Okay? So omega 3, omega 6, omega 9, we have that. Okay? I discussed it in organic chemistry also. Okay? So ganon. Our building blocks of lipid is the glycerol and the fatty acid. So we notice the glycerol lalagyan ng OL, sir, sa tumoy. Okay, that's an identification and it belongs to the alcohol family. If we have OL at the last two letters at the end of the terminology, this is part of an alcohol family. For example, ethanol, methanol, propanol, butanol, okay, decanol, heptanol, octanol, dodecanol, okay, cholesterol, okay, glycerol. Cholesterol, one part highest form of alcohol, but it doesn't function as an antiseptic, the same as ethyl alcohol. Special application, but belonging to the same kaliwa, or what do you call this one? Ancestors, predecessors, like that, or generations, or family, or kingdom, or species, like that, or phylum. Okay, just like the same, right? Phylum, species, kingdom, family, hereditary traits, offspring, okay, generation, okay, like that, belong to the same genes, like that, okay, belong to the same family, okay, because it ends in OL. Glycerol also, it ends in OL, okay, like that. So these are all alcohol, but they are not functioning as a real alcohol, just like the ethyl alcohol, propanol, methyl alcohol. Different application. Especially the cholesterol is very important to convert that to vitamin D. Napuntaan eh. Vitamin D from the heat of the sun. Okay? from vitamin D2 turned into vitamin D3. And it will become cholecalciferol, meaning cholesterol plus calcium, and it turned into vitamin D. So imagine, cholesterol is very important to have vitamin D. Okay, it will be synthesized first in the liver, and then later on it goes to the kidney, something like that. And then we can have now a better calcium absorption. If we have the vitamin D works permanently with calcium. They are both working each other for the bone health, bone repair, to avoid osteomalacia and osteoporosis. Okay, the weakening of the bones and the softening of the bones, the disease of the bones, something like that. Okay, it's gonna be like osteology, right? Osteology study, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think so. Okay, like that. Okay, glycerol is somewhat related to the. You can find this also in the malt, in the LT, right? Or in the fermentation industry, some in making beer and wine, something like that. So there's a sugar called maltose. Yup, from the malt. So it's maltose, and then the enzymes used in the conversion will be the maltase. Okay, as I told you, enzyme should always end with ASE, and after the conversion, due to the enzyme maltase, it will become maltose as a sugar. And then later on, it will be converted also to an alcohol known as glycerol. Okay, so the conversion really is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, something like that, and the rests. A lot of, byproducts out through that chemical reaction. I don't have to explain this one more because I still have to do this other part. So carbohydrates, what are the building blocks of carbohydrates? Okay. Carbohydrates, based on my stock knowledge in chemistry high school, the empirical formula is CnH2nOn. Guys, empirical formula is very important so that we can extract the correct chemical formulation technically. Okay, if you love chemistry, not only loving chemistry, if your course really is, linked with sciences, then memorize na lang yung best para way lusot. Okay? And understand the whole package of the concepts. You get the point? So it's gonna be like that. So the empirical formula of carbohydrates is CnH2nOn. The same as the organic chemistry, you have the alkane, and alkyne. You have also the formulas there to be followed, so that it is very, very easy to have a chemical formula out of that. Okay, now we have the carbohydrates. Okay, what are the building blocks of carbohydrates? Meaning the constituents and the compositions to become a carbohydrate that is necessary to stand as a carbohydrate. Without this constituents, components, it will not become a carbohydrate. So meaning to say, it is the one who made of this carbohydrates. Like that. Just like us. We cannot be a human being if we don't have testosterone hormones and estrogen hormones during sexual intercourse. Okay? We will never grow as a person. Scientifically, if there's no testosterone, okay, binding with androgen as a sperm cell, plus the estrogen, the egg cell, fertilized egg with a woman, sexual intersection, okay, intercourse, and then the chromosomes must be stabilized into 23, 46 chromosomes. Then the time the baby will start to accumulate in the ovary, okay, and then the uterus, something like bahay bata, like, okay, so things like that. Okay, you get the point. Sumusa na siya ani. Okay, meaning to say, a baby will not born without testosterone hormones and estrogen hormones. Okay, di ba? At sa kabalutan, kita matawag mo na, yes, scientifically. Okay, because if that will not be happening, then there will be no productivity and sterility during sexual production. Okay, ganun. So what are the building blocks of carbohydrates? It's gonna be the monosaccharides. Uy, nakakaluba. Grabe ko na siya yung monosaccharides kaayo. Diba? Okay. So the building block of carbohydrates are the monosaccharides. Okay. Taas ka rin siya guys, kung imo pa dyan yung i-breakdown, no? Magbantay ko sa oras, Vicky. Kaglaw na niya ako guys. Diba? Ang monosaccharides then bonded with another monosaccharides, it will become a polysaccharides. Right? In math, if there's this polygon, right? Having so many sides, the word poly, adjective, prefix, put to a terminology. Polygon. Polycyclic. Most of it siya polysaccharides, meaning a set of monosaccharides bonded together. And Sir Sotero, what are these monosaccharides? These are all sugars. Okay? Meaning to say, sugars are the building blocks of carbohydrates. But wait, is that general sugar you mean, Sir Sotero? No, it's not the general. It is the basic sugar unit in our bloodstream, that is the glucose. Okay? So, carbohydrates is the building blocks of glucoses. It's not the fructose, okay, it's not the ribulose, it's not the ribose, it's not the cellulobiose, it's not the maltose, it's not the galactose, it's not the lactose, it's not the fructose, because we have so many sugars. It's not ketose. Okay? Like that. So there's a lot of sugars if you try to study everything. Okay, like that. Okay, so only glucoses, meaning the 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and the 6 atoms of oxygen for the carbohydrates. Because this glucose represents the carbohydrates family. Siya nagdagdida, something like that. Glucose represents all sugars. Siya dyan ang nagada, sa movie pa, star. O, diba? Glucose. Okay, siya dyan mag-represent ang carbohydrates. Okay. Now, the glucoses will stay in the glycogen. Glycogen, which is a stored house of all the glucoses. Inside our digestive system, in sa atong tiyan, there will be a storage house there. That all there are glucoses. And these are called glycogen. And now the glucagon hormone, okay, the glucagon hormone will communicate to the insulin hormone. You get the point? The insulin hormone will be secreted from the pancreas. For example, if the insulin is very low in your pancreas, then the insulin will communicate to the glucagon. Glucagon is a hormone also in the glycogen. They will effectively communicate with each other and then signals the brain cells or the neurons. Okay, and then after signaling the message, this use the electrical signal, okay, to transmit the information. Oh hey, glucagon, give me now, and they will act now. Something like that. So the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system is very, very helpful for these hormones to activate. Without this central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, so they will be also useless. Even though how good they communicate, it will run in the brain. The nerve cells, the brain cells, or the general neurons. The neurons will activate the impulses and then push this glucagon and insulin to communicate with each other. Hey, I need it, blah, 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 so and so. And then, if they cannot control their anymore, you will have over glucose. Okay, then, oh my gosh, I need more insulin. And at the time your body cannot produce the natural insulin, then you will buy insulin in the market, which is very, very expensive. Okay, so because that's the time that diabetes appear. Okay, that's why if you have a type 2 diabetes, okay, like that, you get the point? Diabetes mellitus, that's the scientific name. Okay, if you have that, you have also the hyperglycemia. Because the hyperglycemia is the disease also coming from the glycogen part, in the glucagon part. In the insulin part, we have also the diabetic chuba-chucho. Okay? So kung sobra sa dito si glucagon, hyperglycemia, over glucoses in the body. Okay, mo na ka mga obese, overweight, like that. But it doesn't mean diabetic. Only over of the glucoses or the carbohydrates in the body. But the problem is if you are Total package. You have also diabetes, you have also hyperglycemia patay. Okay? That's the time. This is the juke, mamatay yung tahanan. Okay, you got the point. Hindi na matabang ang insulin. You get the point? Ganon. So we have the building blocks of nucleic acid. Oh, I love this. Okay, the building blocks of nucleic acid is the nucleotide. Wow. Nucleotide. You know guys, the term nucleic comes from nucleus because all the cells control found in the nucleus. Okay? You get the point? The control center of all the cells is in the nucleus. Okay? That's why nucleic acid. Okay? And then nucleotide, again, the root word is also coming from the nucleus. Nucleotide. And you have also nucleolus. Nucleolus also is a structure that produces ribosomes. So, ito sa ribosomes sa Sotero. Ribosomes will carry the ribosugars into our bloodstream. Okay, and then it will be transcribed. Okay, and then after that it will be coded, the genetic information, something like that. And then we have now a very, very, very matured, or let's say, adequate level of our DNA. For genetic information and coding. Genetic coding and coding traits. So we have hereditary traits because it carries the genetic information and it was coded perfectly. If it will not match the coding, then disease will be there. Cancer. Okay, like that. So, meaning if you are sick, one of your DNA is not matching. Because it should be perfectly paired there, okay? Because I don't explain too much because this time will be consumed. The bases, the nitrogenous bases nucleotides, at least they will be paired with each other. If they are not pairing, then mismatch. They will go mutation. Mutation, a series of moving like that, na para sa nabuang dito until your cells will be damaged. That's why we have our cells repair also inside our body. Cells repair naturally. Okay, mo na siya gitawag og homologous recombination. Repairing the damaged cells like that, okay? In our genetic coding and also coding traits in our DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Ganon. Okay, wait, what is our building block of nucleic acid? Nucleotides. And now we need to understand what is nucleotide, Sir Sotero. Okay, nucleotides, sorry, is equal to nitrogenous base. See, I told you a while ago, the atmosphere created by God produced nitrogen. It's still in our genes, the nitrogen. Okay, imagine. That's why this amine also will contribute nitrogen in us. That will be help also in our genes. That's why it's also okay to eat meat. Because it contains nitrogen used in our nitrogenous base, in our genetic information, in our DNA. Okay? So, the only problem if we have more on that. Okay? That's why it's only adequate level. Okay? Necessary. So, nitrogenous base, ganon, or nucleobases. Wow! Plus phosphate group, I told you. Phosphate group plus ribose sugar. Wow. Unique ang ribose sugar. Nakaya ko ng ribose sugars, guys. Okay? And then phosphate group. So, ito na may phosphate ang atong DNA. Naa siya because the sun have phosphorus. Okay? When we walk dili alatul, the phosphorus element from the sun will be absorbed in our system. And it will be converted into a phosphate group later on in combination with our amino acids, nitrobases. We have eaten in the meat, in the plants, because all plants and foods also have nitrogen. Okay, so that's why it will become a complete coded information as our DNA. But before that, it's still coming from the messenger RNA, the sequence. Okay, the single-stranded RNA before it will become a DNA, something like this. Because the DNA, double-stranded naman na siya, you-mix ang mga RNA chuba-chucho. Ganon. Okay, so not just phosphate because the sun also have phosphorus apart from hydrogen, diba? we have nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, if you can remember that in a nuclear chemistry study. Okay, then it have an isotopes chemical reaction. For example, it starts with protium hydrogen, it will be converted to deuterium, later it will become the tritium, and then after that it will become helium, right? And then that's the heat of the sun contains helium, and then some of it contains percentage of phosphorus. Okay, that's why all proteins have phosphorus in the formula. CHNO-P, because that's coming from the food and coming from the heat of the sun. Because the plants absorb phosphorus and the plants is our food. Okay, ganon. Di ba? So, yan, nasa dito sa atong photosynthesis naman nasa dito yung kuan, atong enzyme na undergo siya process ng oxidative phosphorylation. Ganon. The phosphorus na dito ato. Okay, muna na siya ang complete macromolecules. Any questions so far mga palangga kong hitad? Students, do you have questions regarding this biochemistry part regarding biomolecules and macromolecules? Nothing, right? If you want to ask me personally, you can chat me in the FB Messenger. Okay? Then I will answer to you guys. Okay? So, shout out sa katong ni ask me how to balance a chemical reaction. I balanced it completely already. Check your FB Messenger. Okay? Katong patulo sa assignment. Okay. You get the point? Ganon. Okay. So, any questions so far for that? Okay? It's very clear. So, that's only the introduction. Okay? Bye-bye. See you later. Okay, we will discuss first the protein and then followed by the other one like that, okay? Just a point. So we need to discuss this because it's related to health science, Because you know, if you don't understand substances, then how can we know? How can we control that these substances are harmful or not? Okay? And then we need to understand the chemical reaction because if we try to, for example, I will eat chocolate today and I will also drink alcohol. What will be the reaction of chocolate and alcohol inside my system? Then it will produce a product like this. What if the product is carcinogenic? Then it can cause cancer to you after 1 year, after 2 years, because you need to identify the products. If all people in the world are really highly scientific at a younger age, I think we can prevent diseases at a very younger age. But sadly, you know, some subjects are not discussed in elementary and high school, especially health science. We only taking the very basic, but when you go to college, especially engineering, there's no subject regarding medicine. There's no subject how to prevent diseases. Always computation, math, numbers, math, numbers. How? It's useless even though you are the most intelligent person in the whole world, but you have disease, you will just die. Okay, so what will be your fame? F-A-M-E, your popularity, that you have the money of all of this world, but then you are sickly. So it doesn't matter, even though I'm not intelligent, as long as I'm not sickly, I'm not having diseases, right? So it should be teach from the lower level until the higher level, subjects such like a basic medicines or basic medical science, occupational safety and health, okay? Health science, okay, biochemistry, mga ganito talaga dapat puro ng mga dito kinahanglanon, okay? Get the point? Ana siya. Okay, got the point. Kaya mo dyan na kuan good. Oh, napakabuhi ka karon ka mamatay. Okay, you are living in the world in order for you to sustain your life. So, study health. Okay, you got the point. So, because we are not temporary, we are enjoying for us or for the certain specific time. But if that time will pass, okay, then at the age of 50, 60, 70, and you are not taking care of your health, okay, you will never reach 95 years old, just like Madam Imelda Marcos. Okay, 94 years old. Right? You get the point. Ganon. We should take care of ourselves. Okay? Bye-bye everybody. I hope you like it and you can subscribe my YT channel. You can click like, you can share if you wanted to also, and you can click the notification bell for some use the updates of I Am a Singer Eternal Voice. Bye-bye. God bless everybody. Ganon.